Today we're making some spooky elegant or dark and moody home decor DIYs. I'm Brandy, and this is Making It My Own DIYs. Welcome! The first project is a framed raven art. I'm going to be using some black chalk paint, rich espresso, and some metallic. You can also use bronze if that's what you like, or silver. I'm going to use some mounting tape and this beautiful piece of canvas artwork that I got from Temu. I have a frame that I already had, and I'm going to give it a makeover. It's got a little canvas in here, or it's kind of like a fabric, you know? Okay, so we always start by cleaning everything down. We want to have a nice, clean background for any paint that we add. That way we don't have any bumps and lumps, and, we just want a nice finish. For pieces of fabric on a frame, I like to use any type of a brush to clean that as well. I'm going to take this wonderful chalk paint and I am going to just put it all over the entire front of this frame and down on the sides. When it dries, it will look like this. And what you can see still in the dark areas, that's where it's still a little bit wet, but I'm going to let it dry. It is in the process of drying now. All right, once it is thoroughly dry, and you can see how matte it is, so you can see that it is thoroughly dry, I'm going to add some of this beautiful paint and just kind of add it to the brush. I'm going to use a chippy brush, and then I'm going to tap a lot of it off. It's going to push that beautiful metallic color up into the bristles, and it's going to make it a little bit lighter when you apply it. And the idea is to make this look like a kind of a bronzed piece, like an aged bronze piece. Now I also have bronze paint, but this one I just liked better. I just liked it better, and it does look still like a bronzy color to me, so that's what I'm doing. So I like to use my strokes back and forth and then go in and also do it from side to side so that it hits all those high points and it gets on those side pieces as well. There's so much detail in this frame. It looked really nice as it was, but I'm choosing warmer tones rather than the cooler tones of the silver and the cream that were on there. The inner lip of this frame is also elevated, so there's just a lot of stuff going on in this frame. I'm going to add and just gradually build up the amount of paint that I put on this section. And the section that is black, that was fabric in there that we covered up, which is still fabric, but it's going to stay black. I want to leave that rich black background for that area. So I just slowly just build it up a little bit at a time till I get it where I like it. And don't worry, if you get a spot that gets a little too much paint, just gonna add a little bit of black on top of it and you'll be fine. So I can't glue directly to this board because whatever this is sheds really bad. So I am just going to hot glue a piece of paper on top of it. And this is part of a video. It's an open playlist called Halloween Palooza with Crafting with Indiana Jones. I'm going to have a playlist link for you, and I want you to go check out all the rest of the creators because there's a bunch of us, and we'll be doing recipes, and we'll be doing gameplay and designing and landscaping and all kinds of cool things. So be sure you check out the playlist when you're done with my video and go and check it out. Support everybody, support everybody. There's room for everybody in this field that we're in. All right, so I'm going to add some of that mounting tape. My double stick tape was not strong enough to hold this flat, so the mounting tape does a very good job for this. I want to put it as close as I can up to the edge, and I did cut it long ways in half so that it wouldn't show when I press this down. I don't want it to wrinkle or, I want it to look like it cost a lot of money, not like I paid $3, for it. All right, so I'm just going to press that down. That mounting tape is like a double stick, so it works really well. I'm going to make sure I don't have any wrinkles, and just if I need to change it, I can change it. And this way, I'm putting it right down on that piece of poster paper, and it'll stay. Now, this already has an aged look, which is wonderful, but I want to make it a little darker. So I'm going to grab some of my Waverly wax, and I'm going to get a baby wipe, and I'll rub that in really well. And then I am going to use that to just darken it up a little bit more. I really want this to be moody and dark and slightly Gothic. Um, you can kind of use your imagination. Some people are even calling it like a dark cottagecore, which is really cool, I think. I've been adding some darker colors and heavier items to my bedroom, and oh my gosh, I am loving it. It's so cozy. I'm just absolutely loving it. And then I've had quite a few times where I found some nice older books that are just beautiful, and I'm adding those to my room too. So maybe a little academia too. Who knows? Now be sure that you let that dry. You want that to be completely dry, because if you don't, it's a wax, and every time you touch it, you'll be lifting that off and you'll have little spots on there. All right, now I'm going to place it back down where it was, and you can see it's a little bit long, but I just let it hang over on the edge, no problem. This was nailed in, and I did not want to nail it in because I like to repurpose things. So I'm going to use a little bit of hot glue and these paint stir sticks to kind of hold this in place. It is elevated above that inner lip, so there's no way to really get it flat across. So this was a really good way for me to support that canvas. I'm going to add some hardware on the back so that it can be hung up properly, not to fall off and break anything. And I'm just showing you what I do. 4 inches from the edge, and then I put it like halfway. You can see it's like halfway from the end. A little bit of hot glue just to hold it in place while I nail it. I'm gonna go to the other side and I'll do the same thing. Now the nails that come with this little kit, this came from Dollar Tree, they're very small. So using some type of a plier will help you with that, to help you hold that still while you hammer it. And look at this little beauty. I love this. This did not take a lot of work. This did not take a lot of time. And this is definitely something that you can do. The next piece is going to be a Gothic candelabra. So I found this recently at Goodwill bin store. And I knew exactly what I wanted to do with this. How perfect is this going to be underneath that beautiful framed piece of art with the raven on it? Yes. So I'm calling this Gothic. You can call this whatever you want. This was made in the USA and it is old. Okay, so we're going to use possibly some candles from Dollar Tree. I am going to take some matte black paint and I am going to clean this, and then I am going to spray paint it, and then we're going to dry brush some more of that espresso on it. And by the way, thank you to one of my viewers who told me that it's pronounced espresso. My whole life, as country as I am, we have said espresso. That is incorrect. So if it bothered anyone, I'm so sorry. It is what it is. So now I know. You know better, you do better. So anyway, now I'm going to start just wherever I want to at the top, so I don't have to worry about trying to hold it and touch the paint that I've already put down. So I'm going to add this on here. I'll be a little more generous on this piece than I was on the frame, because I just really wanted to highlight it, on the frame. And for this, I really want to make this look, a little more richer and a little more, I don't know, a little more bronze than black. Let's just say what it is. That's what it is. I'm going to brush this in all of those areas, and you can see the difference that it makes if you look to the right side and to the left side of the frame. If it was left black, you would not see any of those beautiful details. To me, this looks like an expensive iron piece, but it's not. It's just like the resin that they use. It's just a simple, inexpensive piece. This probably could have come from, what was the name of that? Was it Home Decor, Home Interiors? That's what it was. Possibly a piece like that. If you can find those kinds of things, that would be really nice to redo. And have some beautiful, beautiful pieces too. So look at the difference that this makes. I'm leaving all this in because if you're not someone who's ever done this before, I want you to feel encouraged. I want you to feel brave. And I want you to do something different. You might even have something in your house already that's black. That maybe you had farmhouse like me. I had farmhouse for a long time. And now I want to add some color back into my life. I want to add some richness and coziness that I am not finding anymore from that airiness that comes with farmhouse. I just want to feel like I am just wrapped up in comfort and, oh, like Harry Potter stuff, you know the feeling. That's what I'm trying to do. But I don't want to spend a lot of money doing it. And I want mine to be my own, right? Because in this channel, we make it my own and we do it on a budget. And you can certainly do this on a budget. Maybe you can find it at a garage sale if you don't have good thrift stores, or make something that, take something you already have. Offer to clean out grandma's closet or mom's closet or your sister's closet. And maybe you can find something like that. So here are the ones from Dollar Tree, and here are the ones from IKEA. These were thrifted. These I like much better. However, they both fit. So either way, you can use either candle. Now I'm going to do a little something extra on these candles because I want them to appear old and used. So we're going to give them a little bit of a little spiffing up. I have taken the plastic off. I have removed with my Goo Gone all of the residue from the stickers. And I am now going to make it look like we've got wax dripping. I did a candle last year using I think it was a Dollar Tree napkin that had a raven on it. Absolutely stunning. I am so pleased with that candle. I have it in my candle stash, and I might even have it. It might even be on the end of this video. I'll see if I can find it and if I can give you a link for that. If you're interested and you don't see the link up there though, just let me know and I'll grab a link for you so you can see what we did with that candle. Because it was also a plastic candle, a battery operated candle. It turned out wonderful. It had lots of drips on it. It looked so old. But we're going to do something similar with these. So you can take your heating tool or your blow dryer, whatever you have, blow over the top of it when you're adding your layers, and it will smooth out those layers to look like one melted waxy situation. Now you can add on, put more drips on there if you want, keeping in mind gravity's going to pull it downward, so just I'm trying to be a little more realistic, not going sideways with it, because in my house wax doesn't go sideways. That would be a different video. Okay, so once that is done and cooled, then you can lay it down. I'm going to take a little bit of my painter's tape from Dollar Tree and go right around the fire part because I don't want any paint on here. I am not digging the color of these candles, and I need to make the hot glue grips look the same color as the candle. So I'll be taking 3 of these into my garage with a fan and some ventilation, and I will be painting them to make them all look the same and all look a little more realistic. I mean, we know it's a fake candle. We wouldn't be putting tape over the actual flame. So my heirloom white I put on there, and then I took some of my alcohol spray and I sprayed all over the candle. Little flicks. You can flick on some dark paint if you want to, but this is just a tarnished silver color that I sprayed on here. Then I'm going to take my brush and some antique wax. And you can also, I don't know that I would use a baby wipe. It might lift up the alcohol drops, the paint drops. So I just wanted to use my chippy brush and a dry paper towel to rub that in. I'm going around where the wax is, I'm going around the top, all the way to the bottom, because the little rubber part on the bottom, which turns the candle on and off, is where it's going to sit down in the cups on the candelabra, and I want to make sure that it is a solid finish all the way down to that point. So when we take it off, isn't that better? Doesn't that look grungy and better, like it's been in an old home? Yes. I'm going to go around, just make sure that you get all around the areas of the candle that have where you have made some wax drips on the top to really give it a nice look. If you have never been to my channel before and you have never met me before, my name is Brandy and I'm all about inexpensive, beautiful, unique DIYs. So thank you for watching as part of a playlist, or just if you found the video on my channel or in suggestions or wherever you found it. I would love to have you as part of my YouTube family. We are very active in the comments in all of our videos, and I do respond to everyone. So feel free to leave me a comment and tell me what you think about this. Won't this be stunning with that picture? Absolutely. And you can watch my videos on Mondays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. It is free to subscribe. All right, the next one is going to be a poison wood round. All right, we're going to use some matte Mod Podge. A big brush for that, of course. I've got this beautiful fabric from Dollar Tree. Love this fabric. Some more black chalk paint. Some more espresso. And there is that misting spray that I used on the candles. And I'll show you how to use it here. Tarnished silver. I have my sanding block. I have this sign from Dollar Tree. And I have one of these thrifted wood rounds. So it's 16 inches. It needs a lot of love. I'm going to pull off the hanger from the back and remove all the staples. I will sand that down smooth. And then you can use a sander and do it by hand, but mine needed a lot of work, so I took it outside and used my hand sander. Then I'm going to wipe away all of the dust. I don't want any sawdust on there. And look at this piece of fabric. It is gorgeous. It's got potion bottles and spiders and bats and spider webs, and oh, it just has that grungy look that I want. So I'm going to take that Mod Podge and put it all over here. I'm using matte Mod Podge. It is just preferred for me because I don't want it to be shiny when it dries. No shiny. Not this. Not this. All around, make sure you go all the way down the edges, because I'm going to show you a way that you can trim this down that is so much easier than trying to get super close with your scissors and just losing your mind because it's so frustrating. So I'm just going to lay this down in that Mod Podge. I'm going to press it with my fingers. Make sure that I'm pressing out wrinkles and bubbles. If you work sort of from the inside to the outside, you can push the bubbles right over the edge, and that's a good way to do it. For me, that's just my opinion, but it always works for me. So I'm just going to continue to press and push it down into that Mod Podge. I like to use a big wooden ruler to really kind of iron this down, if you want to think of it that way. Really press it into there. Really get all the wrinkles out. I'm going to cut off any excess, and you can use that on something else if you want. You could even do some smaller candles in this if you wanted to. And then I'll take some more of that Mod Podge. I'm at the bottom of that bottle. Gotta run and get some more. I'm gonna go all the way over the edges, all the way over the edge, not just to it, but over it, because we're gonna make this fabric papery. It's gonna change the texture completely of the fabric so that we can do something special with it. Keep watching though. You don't want to miss it. You're gonna keep going around, and then after you get all the edges, for me, I like to work around those edges because it takes a little longer to dry, and then I go all over the inside. Now if you're using Mod Podge, you can let this dry overnight. You can put it in front of a fan, whatever you want to do. I dried mine with the heating tool. Okay, I'm also going to sand down a little bit on my Dollar Tree sign because these can be a little bit rough too. They're just blanks, they're blank pieces, and it is up to us to do the extra work that it takes to make it look a little more high-end. So sand it, blow off the dust, wipe the dust off, brush it off, and then we're going to remove the tag, and we're going to fill in that little hole. I just use a little tape on the back, and then I'm going to press some of this little spackling down into it, and then level it off, and then you can let that dry. Okay, let's go back over to the base sign. Now you can see here when I cut it, it's almost like, well, it's a little stronger than construction paper. It's pretty tough. But then, if you do it right, you can take your sanding block and go around it with the sanding block, just like you do if you put paper on there, and it will come off completely right to the edge. If you did it right, and you'll have a nice, smooth, beautiful edge. So now I'm going to take this, make it look a little bit more aged and grungy. So I'm going to dip into that with a foam brush and just go over the edge. I'm going to go over the edge, and then I'll go slightly to the inside. This is one of those things that if you take the time to do this, it's going to change the look of it. It's going to give you something special that nobody else has. And that's what I like to do. I like to show you how to make it your own. So that's what we're doing here. I'm going to go around the edge and cover all that up. And of course, you need to paint your back. I did go outside and spray paint mine black because it has it's pink on the back. So I wanted to cover that up. And then with what's left on the brush, you can start going to the insides. And it's going to cause like a shadow effect on it. You can see here the difference. See the difference there? I like the look of that. And I think it's kind of mimicking what's already going on in the fabric because there are some lighter areas and some darker areas there. At this point, also, if you wanted to bring that gray down and warm it up a little bit, you could certainly do that by just using what's left on that baby wipe that had the antiquing wax on it. You can definitely do that for a little extra dimension. Look what I did. I broke the brush. Talk about a die-hard crafter there. Okay, so now I'm going to take my brush. It is very dry. It's got some paint from before on it, and I'm just going to go all over the edges of that. I'll go back the other way now, just like I did when I was putting down that espresso, and flick it all over the edges. It just kind of speckles it out a little bit. I don't know exactly the terminology for it, but it just really gives it. I know y'all are tired of all of us crafters talking about depth and dimension, but it does. It does. And it just brings a different, look at that. Look at the difference that makes. We're going to let that dry. And then this I spray painted. And that is in a flat black. Now we're going to work on it. So there's that espresso on my little pouncer. You can do this any way that you like, but to me, this is easier than using a brush because you can get all down in those little cracks, and this is just so much faster. Plus, to me, it gives it a little bit more of an aged look. But you tell me what you think. Do you like the look of this? I love doing it this way. I'm going to go up to the little trim, but on the top, which you can't really see right now, but you will soon, the skull and crossbones, I don't want my bones or the skull to be this color. We're going to do it a little bit differently. So I'm just focusing on the word and the little swirlies that are around it. I'm going to go around the edge very lightly at first. I know you can barely see it, and then slowly build up the little aging all around the sign. Just pouncing it around. I'm trying to use the smallest amount so I don't get too crazy with it. And then, like I said, you're just going to build it up. And if you get areas that are too dark, again, all you have to do is maybe take another pouncer, dip back into that black, and just go back over it. And that'll clear that up for you. You see right there where I got a little too much? That's what I did. Now, after I pounce it, I'm going to take my brush and go all the way around the edges. I'm using, I think that's the same brush that I had the black paint in. Yes, I think it is. And I just went ahead and used it to do this. And I think it works fine that way. It's no problem at all. But I will fix that little spot on the top in the way that I told you that you can fix yours. I'm going to make sure I go all around my letters and the little skull. See, I got a little bit on his bones, but that's okay. That is okay. So I've got some buff, and I'm going to go over this with buff, the little brush. And I probably could have used a little pouncer for this too, like a smaller one, but to get the line of division between the top of the word and the bones, I thought using a brush would probably be the better option. I gave this to Coach just because I wanted to. Really wasn't necessary because we're still going to age it, because we want every bit of these pieces to look nice together. Look, I'm wearing my glasses, y'all. Are you proud? I've gotten to that age. I'm 50 years old, so I'm to the point where my body's like, yes, sis, you're going to be needing some help from here on out. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm protecting my eyes. I need my eyes for my work, right? I really do. I have to have it to be able to do this job that I love so much. All right. This is very simple. We all know how to paint at this point, probably. I know there are some new people, though, that don't know, and I don't want to exclude anyone. So I like to leave some things in here for you so that you can see what I'm doing. I am not going to go in the inside of the nose, the mouth, or the eyes. I want those to remain black. But you certainly could put in some glow-in-the-dark paint here. You could do some, like a bead or a rhinestone in there if you would like. I'm not going to do that because to me that would make it more of a pirate type thing, and I'm really not going for that, so I'm just going to skip that part. But you feel free to do it any way that brings you joy. Alrighty, so I've got my paint on there and it is now dry, and we will move on to the next step. This is just a little stencil brush. I'm going to go over it with a little bit of that same bronzy color. It's a very stiff little brush. You know, again, if there's something that you see me do and you don't like it or you wouldn't have done it, you just do it the way that you like it. What I do for me is completely how I like it, and I really encourage you to do it your own way. And you can use completely different colors if you want. You can go crazy with this thing. If you don't like the darker colors and you don't like the theme, then you can use a different sign, you know? Just take the inspiration from it, right? I mean, for all of us crafters, we want you to be inspired by what we do, and we want you to be able to do it yourself. Don't feel like you can't do it, or that there's something wrong with yours because it doesn't look like mine or Annie's or someone else's, you know? Now I'm just going around with a little bitty bit of that black just to, you know, kind of pop around the eyes and the mouth, and see the difference that it makes layering all that paint. Yes, it does take a little more time, but man, it's worth it. Look how this looks. I like this very much. Very, very much. And it's just paint, right? If you mess it up, you can go back and fix it. No problem. It's my little final touches on here. A little black and bronze together. And you're going to want to let that dry completely. It doesn't take long because we didn't use heavy layers. All right, now that the Mod Podge and the paint on the edge is completely dry, I'm going over here with a little bit of that bronze because, again, everything needs to be matchy-matchy for this. Probably matchy-matchy is not a good idea, but the theme needs to be similar. I don't want anything to stand out more than the next thing, right? So just to get my orientation right, I'm showing you here that the placement of these bottles is going to give me my placement for the sign that I'm adding on top. And that's how I'm going to do it. I'll add some hot glue here. I don't want it popping off. This will be inside, but if you want to put it outside, you're definitely going to have to use a weather-resistant Mod Podge, and you're going to have to use Gorilla Glue to hold everything in place, or some type of a super glue. Pressing it down. And you can weight it down if you want, but in my experience, the glue dries fairly quickly, so it's not necessary. Now look at, you can see on my table better than you can probably see on there, where I have kind of held it about 2 feet away and flicked it all over there. That really gives it more of an aged look. Okay, y'all, check that out. Oh my goodness, what you're seeing right now is with the lights on, but I am going to dim my lights a bit in a moment and let you see how it looks when it is dim. I'm absolutely obsessed with the raven. Absolutely obsessed. I think the candelabra underneath it just really makes it glow. It makes it beautiful. I enjoy very much this look. Very, very much. The deep burgundies, the bronze color, the black, the cream. Look how the light, when the lights are dim, look how it just glows on that picture. Stunning, and I'm loving it. I really do love it. And I love thrifting. I went and got a whole bunch of stuff yesterday. Oh my goodness, I have so much stuff. I'm obsessed. My room is just gonna, I'll be sharing it because it's so different from what I'm used to. There's our little poison sign. Think of all the ways that you can put your own spin on this and on the candelabra and the framed artwork. And you can really use any type. Don't forget, I'm going to have in the playlist below the information that you need to go and watch everybody. It's all kinds of Halloween goodness, and you will not be disappointed. I know several of these people who are participating, and I can tell you right now, you don't want to miss it. It's a huge variety that you're going to be seeing in this playlist. So go give them some support and love. If you came from my channel and you're going to watch the other people, please let them know that, that you came from my channel and you're watching their videos. Let them know that we all have room for each other. I thank you so very much for stopping by and for checking out my video. Now go check everybody else out. Also, I'll have an extra video linked here for you, just in case you want to go check out some more of my DIYs. Bye!